Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and for taking the time to attend today's webinar, A Journey Through Patagonia's Crown Jewel, Torres del Paine National Park. My name is Ana Kammerer. I'm part of the Emerging Destinations team led by Jane Barron. We are a sales and marketing representation company in US and Canada. And today I will be your co-host. And in a few more seconds, I will introduce Mauricio Kusanovic, Executive Director of Las Torres Reserve. But before we start our virtual trip to Torres del Paine National Park, I would love to give you a sneak peek of the cool companies in cool places that we have in the portfolio. Let me change the slide. Here we go. In Africa, we are proud of represent Kelly and Peacock Safaris, the Elewana Collection, Sopa Lodges, and Sky Safari, all of those do in Kenya and Tanzania. Then we have the Royal Livingstone Victoria Falls by Anantara in Zambia, Anantara Basaruto Island Resort, and Anantara Mejumbe Island Resort, both of them in the idyllic beaches of Mozambique. Eco training offering wildlife courses in South Africa, and then Adventures on South in Uganda and Rwanda. In the Americas region, we represent Grand Hotel Lux with 4 beautiful 5-star hotels in Argentina and Uruguay, Enchanted Expeditions in mainland Ecuador and the Galapagos Island, Travel Pioneers in Costa Rica, and Canyon Madness Ranch, an outdoor playground overlooking the Canadian River Canyon in northeast New Mexico. And of course, our today guest, Las Torres Reserve or Las Torres Patagonia, formerly known as Hotel Las Torres on one side and Fantástico Sur for the trekking circuits on the other side. Finally, our portfolio is completed with our clients in Europe, Iceland Pro Cruises sailing into Iceland and Greenland, Iceland Pro Travel, Hotel Island in the capital city of Reykjavik, and Paxmore in Greece. If you have any questions about any of them, please feel free to reach out to me after the webinar. You can see my email address at the bottom of your screen now. Before turning everything over Mauricio, just a few housekeeping notes for today's webinar. This webinar is being recorded and we will be sending you this playback on the follow-up email in the upcoming days. I would say between Friday and next Monday. We will also upload this recording on our website, www.emergingdestinations.com, and on our YouTube channel, Emerging Destinations. If you are still not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to this new tool. All the attendees are mute, but we encourage you sending any questions. You can type those on the control panel on your right, and Mauricio will be answering them live at the end of the presentation. So let's start with our webinar, A Journey Through Patagonia's Crown Jewel, Torres del Paine National Park, which will be presented by Mauricio Kusanovic, member of the Kusanovic family and executive director at Las Torres Reserve. He has a business degree and an MBA from Adolfo Ibáñez University in Chile. He's the co-founder and current vice president of the Association of Hotels and Tourist Services of Torres del Paine. And as a native of the Magallanes region, he loves nature, adventure, and fly fishing. Please help me to welcome Mauricio. Over to you.
Hey, thank you. Hi, everyone there. Hope everyone's safe. Let me put my presentation. I think that's it. And yes, I show my screen. So, well, welcome. And I will try to take you now to a journey to Torres del Paine National Park. This is the place I was born, actually, here in Patagonia, and we've been around for a long time as a family. We're Croatian descendants, actually, but I'll tell you everything now. So let's begin. And I want to begin a little bit for the people that has never been here, or if you don't sell already Torres del Paine. So what is Torres del Paine? You know, I've heard about this place. it's amazing. That's Patagonia, you know, but what is it? Well, Torres del Paine is this. It's nature, it's lakes, it's mountains, you know, it's glaciers that you can go see and get very close to them, you know, trekking circuits that are one of the most famous ones in the world. This is Torres del Paine, a beautiful and amazing place in which you find nature, wildlife, skies, and open spaces, you know. For COVID world, this is the best place you can be. Um, these three granite rocks, they're the most famous one. They're called Las Torres, 2,600 meters of height. So, and people get here. They trek to these places and they enjoy amazing services. Um, so yes, so it is a national park, biosphere reserve, um, preserve. So, and this is the map of Torres del Paine. Okay, so for those who don't know the Torres del Paine, this might be a little difficult to follow, but I will try to be as clear as I can be. So this is a map of the national park, and we, as Las Torres Reserve, we are located right there in the middle. Here I'll show you. You see the green part? It's the reserve, 11,000 acres of private land within the national park, now a protected private land. But we engage in all sort of dynamics with the national park. Actually, our clients, they don't even realize sometimes when they are in our property or when they are in the national park, but we're in the middle. So let me give you a little context. We'll go back to this tracking map in a while. So where is Las Torres Patagonia Reserve? We are located in Magallanes, right, in Chile, within Torres del Paine National Park. Torres del Paine has over 200,000 hectares of land. It's a big national park. We only have 4,000 hectares and something, right? But we are only 2%, but very strategically located within the national park. That's why we've been here for a long time. In Magallanes, we have 2 local airports in Punta Arenas and Puerto Natales, and also 1 airport in Calafate from Argentina. Those 3 airports are the ones you can arrive, and there's more than 4 airlines that can actually they travel to. They come here directly from Santiago or Buenos Aires. I'll tell you a little bit more about us. So the family, who do we are? You know, we are part of the pioneers in Patagonia. The first settlers that came, our great grandfather came from Croatia in 1905. So so we're Croatian descendants. My grandfather, with his wife, Amor Eliana, actually her name was Love, and that says love because she was really a sweetheart. And they struggle. I mean, they work hard in the cattle business, you know, in the farming business. And in 1979, following the family steps, you know, he bought this estancia, this land. Estancias in Patagonia, they're big ranch. It's a big ranch in Torres del Paine. That was 1979, and from there we started our journey from the farming, from the cattle to tourism, and now conservation. But this is an historic estancia in Torres del Paine. It was long before established before the national park. It was 1959 that the national park was created in Torres del Paine, and from 1959 until 1979, the national park expanded, and it ended up being surrounding all Cerro Paine estancia, now that we turn into a reserve. So we are the only private land within Torres del Paine, and we've been here for a long time. So this is actually a 4-generation family-run business, and I think very proud to be part of the 4th generation. And the tourism started only the early 19th. It was a new adventure. It was very hard to get there. So we had to cross rivers. We had to use all the resources that the estancia had. And those resources included vehicles, horses, you know, oxes, and this is like the old Western. This is how we built things, and it was a great effort. So I'll tell you this because I want you to know that we're talking here about the authentic Patagonia, a local family that started this business in 1979, and then the early 19th started constructing tourism infrastructure. But it was an effort of gauchos, of vaqueanos, of horses, and we're very proud of it. So first, how to get to Torres del Paine? I think it's very important if you want to sell it from US or from different parts of the world. One option is arriving to Chile through Santiago de Chile. Okay, this is the international airport, and from there, from Santiago de Chile, you have direct flights to Punta Arenas or Puerto Natales. Those are the two cities that are really close to Torres del Paine. Another possible option is from Santiago to take an airplane to Puerto Montt, and from that area you can take a ferry and pretty much do the fjords until you get to Puerto Natales. There are two ferries. One starts from Puerto Montt, the other from Caleta Tortel, and this is actually a pretty amazing trip. I don't know if you've heard about the fjords, but the country of Norway and us are the only ones that have fjords in the world, and they're like really, really beautiful. And this is only the few ships you can actually take for 4 nights or 5 days, and you can get directly to Puerto Natal. Another option, which is very common for people that are taking the Australis cruise, is to take a cruise and arrive to Punta Arenas. And there's different international cruises that arrive to Punta Arenas. Actually, it's not my area of expertise, but I'm sure if you find one, I mean, for sure you can do Torres del Paine as a post tour, a pre-tour of any cruise like this. And Australis, of course, they do Ushuaia, Punta Arenas in a regular basis, which is an expedition cruise. Okay. Another option is to come from Buenos Aires, arriving to Argentina. You have to arrive to Argentina, and from Buenos Aires, then you have different flights directly to Calafate or Ushuaia, and from Calafate and Ushuaia. And Calafate, it's only 4 hours away from Torres del Paine. So that's another option how to get here to Patagonia, right? So once you are in any of these 3 destinations, Punta Arenas, Puerto Natales, or Calafate, you can take regular buses to get to Torres del Paine, or you can rent a car in any of these cities, or, which is the one we recommend, leave everything in our hands. We go pick up passengers at the airport. It could be a private transportation, it could be a shared one, but it's something we do on a daily basis. We want you not to be worried about logistics and leave everything in our hands. From Punta Arenas or Puerto Natales or Calafate, there are different times. I mean, Punta Arenas and Puerto Natales is only 3 hours away, a very good pavement road. From Puerto Natales to Torres del Paine is only 2 hours away, 150 kilometers. And from Calafate to Torres del Paine, you have 4 to 5 hours, 255 kilometers, depending on the times it takes to cross the border. That's the only thing sometimes a little bit tricky. Every border, could be fast. Sometimes it's not that fast. Well, it depends. But if you arrive to Punta Arenas, for example, which is one of the most common ones, and because Puerto Natales just started maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so it's a new airport for many. So I would recommend try to take flights directly to Puerto Natales. It would make things much shorter and easier. But if you arrive to Punta Arenas, one thing we do, because from Punta Arenas to Torres del Paine, it's 5 hours of traveling. So you're arriving from a long day. And so the day you get in, we make a little stop. This is a cultural stop. It's about 2 hours, the whole program within the Estancia Cerro Negro. Estancia Cerro Negro is an estancia that my family lived there for many, many years. Actually, they still live there. It's a working estancia. It's more than 8,000 hectares of land in which we do sheep. And what we do here, we teach everything to the client about family history. We go inside the house where our grandfathers and the family used to live. We teach them how the dog managed the sheep and the gaucho. It's a very, very nice stop. And well, if you arrive for lunch, you get to eat a lamb. And if you arrive for tea time, it might be some other things, but it's very good to rest after some hours of airplane and then a bus. Distances in Patagonia, they're quite long sometimes. So stops like this makes a huge difference. And we finish here by showing you a sheep sharing show in Estancia Cerro Negro, and we teach you everything, how do we manage the sheep and all the process, So from here, we go directly to Torres del Paine. So arriving to Torres del Paine, remember, we'll go back to this map many, many times. And we are right there. Hotel Las Torres and the first refugios and campings are located very close to the mountain. And when I say very close, I mean it. And this is a place, we're very well located within the Torres del Paine National Park. And actually, this is the last stop for everyone that wants to do the W trek. So it's the beginning of the W trek, and I would recommend it all the time. Stay there. Don't need cars to go any other way to take excursion. So when you have a client in front, and one of the questions is like, I always do is like, how do you want to travel? And there's different options. You can take a backpack with yourself and do it and do many of the circuits with like this guy, or you can take a suitcase. So depending on what you want to do, and how you want to travel, it's the experience you're gonna get. Of course, it may not be like this guy, the backpack, but could perfectly be like this. This guy right here in the picture is willing to bring his tent, bring his mattress, his sleeping bag, and everything with him. And that's an option you can do in Torres del Paine. You can even cook yourself if you want. For most of people, what we recommend is to travel light and take a small backpack for your clothes, and we can give you and provide you with any of the other services within every mountain lodge or camping, meals, tent, sleeping bag, and everything. There's others that really like to travel light, in which you can take, like, for example, daily excursions and don't need to bring all your clothes with you. So it will depend what kind of travel you want to do. There are people that are experts in what they do and they can very well prepare. And like this, I always mention this photo because there's people that bring their kids into these places, and it's something to be worried about unless you're an expert. Like, she looks like a very expert in going to the mountains. And there are other people that they don't really know what risk they're getting into. This guy, if I were his guy, I would have advised him. He probably that didn't come with a local guide, but actually this place is for everyone. So what I'll do now is I'll explain you a little bit of Las Torres Hotel and things we can do within Torres del Paine. Okay, so this is Las Torres. It's a 85-room hotel located right there at the heart of Torres del Paine. We have different infrastructure within the hotel, and this is one thing important. It's like one of the best programs we offer is the all-inclusive, but it's way different than the all-inclusive of the Caribbean or of the Central, in which you're pretty much stuck with one hotel, whether you want to go to another one, right? Well, in this case, the reality is that you will be in a place far away, so we'll be pretty much the only option once you're here. This is going to happen in every hotel you want to be. It's going to be 3 or 4 days with right there. That's why we have different options, different restaurants, different places, so you can have 3, 4, 6 nights there and really have a great time. So we have 75 rooms like this, rustic style, simple. We rather people to be outside the room. There's a bar with local food, and very, very into sustainable cocktails. There's 2 guys there that have created a great concept that I invite everyone to drink. We have a restaurant also right there, which is a more signature, you can call it signature meals. There's different chef, different styles, right? So you can actually spend different nights in different places. Excursions, a big thing. From the hotel, we can visit the whole national park, and this is very important. This is what happened also in different other hotels. From the hotel, we can go see Las Torres, take horseback riding, and always going back to Las Torres, to the hotel. Horseback riding, of course, is one of the biggest excursions. It's not the biggest excursion. It's the excursion we like the most, I would say, because it's part of our family history. We love horses. We have over 200 horses within Las Torres Reserve, and we take clients happily to see Las Torres and just to take a horseback riding. Always will be you will be with these guys, the gauchos. Through them, we try to tell also some of the family history of some of the cultural side of Patagonia. There's one program that I would highly recommend, and you will get all this information, specific information, which is about the puma. Puma, it's been very interesting, the evolution of the puma in Torres del Paine, because it hasn't been that many years that you have tour operators, you have hotels and programs specialized in puma seeing or puma tracking the puma. So what do? We've created a whole program that is related to this amazing wild cat, and so we go every day looking for the puma with experts on the field that have been for many years doing the same thing, and we have over 95% success of seeing the puma. It's an experience I would recommend to everyone, and there's a program we have that you can just, and we will send you all the information, because this is gonna, it's big already. There's some of important television networks that have showcased the puma in Torres del Paine, and it's gonna be even bigger very soon. We have a little spa at the hotel, you know, which can take massage, some treatment, sauna. There's a kitchen garden. We have our own kitchen garden. We try to do as much as we can, garden to table. There's more than 3 tons of fresh food and vegetables that we take from there to the table of the tourist. Of course, we do all the organic compost right there, and we use it for the garden. So the concept here is so people know that this is a remaining of a cultural heritage of the estancia. It was my grandmother that she worked in this garden herself, and I'm very proud to now be able to show to everyone and then try to follow her steps. So hopefully what you see here, the vegetables you see in your plate, they come from here, okay? So from Las Torres, it's important to know that you can always, and I'll go to this picture, from the hotel itself, you can always do the W Trail or visit any of the attractions of the national park. That's what we do. We take it as a home-based hotel, and from there we go, we trek, we horseback ride, and always come back to the hotel. So now I'll talk to you a little bit about the trekking circuits, okay? Because one thing Torres del Paine is known for is its trekking circuits, and we have 2 circuits that they're named after a letter. Well, there's the W circuit, in which you see in the red line, right, which is actually a W, and the O circuit, you know, which is the W plus the yellow line, in which it does a circle. Not very names are very not very innovative, but I think they represent the biggest offer we have in Torres del Paine. A lot of the people come from different parts of the world to do this W trail. And what's the attraction of doing this trail? It's like you will be walking right there next to the mountains, you know, and the whole experience, it's completely different than staying just in one hotel. It's you connect with people, you connect with nature, and you walk, right? Because that's what people come here for, you know. So what I'll do now, that I will explain you a day-by-day W trail. You can imagine some dynamics, because well, this is just an itinerary I will do, but you can mix things, you know. You can stay one day here, next day there. So nothing is very fixed. We do have some fixed programs which we recommend, and it's the best offer we have, but in general there's always the possibility of changing, okay? So day number one, it's usually the day they arrive from Santiago, they arrive from Punta Arenas, or from Puerto Natales. It depends, but it's usually the first day they arrive to Torres del Paine. And don't get me wrong, it could be a long day, but it's actually a very, very beautiful day. They're anxious to get there and to see the mountains, and you will see amazing mountains on the way there. A lot of wildlife also. Once you get there, for example, in Central, Refugio Central, this is the facilities you will find. They're very nice facilities. You have a restaurant, and the concept in general of the W Trail, it's share accommodations, share bed, share room, 6 people per room, and share bathrooms, you know, women and men. But they're very nice, they're very spacious, you know, they're very clean. I know some people love to do trekking, but some other destinations, they do not have the infrastructures we have here in Torres del Paine. In the camping, a lot of people like to do camping, and as I recommended before, I do recommend to hire and rent everything here. We have this concept of full tent, full equipped, in which you have a mattress, you have a sleeping bag, you have towels. It comes with the meals, so you really don't have to worry about anything. Just bring your clothes and your personal items, and you're good to go. That's all you need. You don't need to carry many weight. And believe me, 5 kilos extras in a 4 or 5 day trip walking, it's a huge difference. So day number 2. So we start from Las Torres Central, and then we do Base Torres, which is one of the main attractions. We go see Las Torres del Paine. This is the road. And what we see here is we're gonna go by Refugio Chileno. This is another option of vlogging. You can stay here. There's also a shared accommodation, 6-bed per room, share bathroom. You have a restaurant. It's a very, very nice place, especially if you wanna walk and be closer to Las Torres. The campsite here, it's on the hill. That's why we have platforms. It's a quite nice experience. The trails in Torres del Paine, they all look like this. They're small trails within nature, right there next to the rivers, next to the mountains. In this, there's really no other ways. We will go through different valleys, because that's the only way you can enter and do the W trail. So once we get at the end of this excursion, we have to face the moraine, 45 minutes going up, and finally getting to the base of Las Torres in order to have. Okay, I guess there's a 1 second. There's a always Murphy is one of my best friends. So
no worries, Mauricio. Work on that while you are trying to recap your presentation. Just to remind all attendees that they can type all their questions in the control panel on the right. Mauricio will be answering them at the end of the presentation. So if any of the attendees have any questions, you can type those on the control panel.
Okay, so I guess I'm ready. Not sure. Can you see my? Yes, you can see it, right? Can you see my presentation, right?
Yes, we can, Mauricio.
Okay, so then you have to face the moraine and finally get to this amazing place and be as happy as she is, in which you get to Torres del Paine and achieve one of the best attractions, which is Las Torres. The most impressive thing on Torres del Paine is the difference of altitude. Normally, you will be at 100, 200 meters high, maybe 800 if you go to Las Torres, for example. But these mountains, they are 3,000 meters high, and they're only like 500 meters away from you. And that's what it's impressive, because it makes you feel humble. It makes you feel small in the world of mountains. Okay, so day number 3, we start from the Central sector, and we start going to the sector Los Cuernos and French. Okay, there are 2 different logging there. Los Cuernos, this is it. You are right there. At the bottom of Los Cuernos, very, very impressive. We also have a restaurant. In this case, we also have a separate bar where people can actually join and have a beer. Again, 6 beds per room, and share accommodations in the bathroom also. Okay, in this and only here, we have this tiny cabin product, which is private. It's a private option with shared bathroom, but the bathroom is just with the cabins, not with the whole camping or refugio. And the accommodation cannot be better. The location here is actually pretty impressive to be right next to the Los Cuernos, which is the Horns, one of the 2,800 meters high mountains within Torres del Paine. Okay, so these are the bathroom for the cabins. And then we go to French sector, which is an hour from Los Cuernos. French sector and Los Cuernos, they can be used, you can use it both, or you can use either one or the other. It depends. Like the W trail is not only just one possible itinerary. If you know the place, you can actually mix and change. This is the French domes. It's 8 people per dome. And what they have here, they also, it's similar accommodations than the other one. Their bathrooms, it's shared in every dome, but just with the people of the dome. And of course, the common area of the restaurant or the bar. People here just have a tea, and they enjoy. A lot of people, like once you're here, this is like the 3rd day or the 2nd day of excursion, you probably have made some friends along. So it's pretty cool what happens. You ended up, especially people that travel alone, they never end alone the excursions or the trail, because they always meet a lot of people. And the campsite in French is like this. In the campsite, one cool thing about this place is it has a great bathroom. When I say a great bathroom, I mean it because we built it. It's the newest construction we had, and it's very well done, and it's very spacious, and it's meant to be there. It's part of a hopefully second stage project. And so from French, the next day, day number 4, we'll go visit this French valley, famous in Torres del Paine, and then we finish in Paine Grande, which, so now we enter Torres del Paine National Park. We leave the Las Torres Reserve and we enter the park. To be honest, people don't really know the difference. For them, they are in the national park, and we want to keep it that way in general. It's all part of a whole ecosystem. So right here, what we do, first of all, is you will get to this in the morning, which is the French Valley lookout point. You have different, you have one that is harder than the other. It depends on how much you can walk, what's your health, you have any knee problems, for example. Some things may be more complicated. No, but this is a beautiful, beautiful valley, and the hanging glacier there is just amazing. It's right there, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the highlights of the W Trail. So once you get away from the French Valley, you start going to Paine Grande. The views are also different and amazing, very nice. And you ended up staying here. And this is the Paine Grande sector. You have the campsite, and you have the refugio. Similar concepts as the ones we have in terms of shared accommodation. Okay. So we sleep here, and the day number 5, it's the day we go see Great Glacier. And in this case, for this itinerary, we go back to Puerto Natales or to our van or to any other hotel. So what do we do here? We start from Paine Grande, and we go visit the first lookout point, which you can actually see from far away, the Great Glacier, or we get closer to them. There's different options, and then we go back and take this ferry. It's a ferry for about 100 people. No one's left behind in general. They always take everyone that is in one side that want to go to the other. There's different itineraries, of course, in the morning, in the afternoon. And the pictures from the boat, they're amazing. So the boat itself, even though it takes you from one place to another, it's not meant to be an excursion, but it is a great product to take. You know, it's beautiful, and the way you see Las Torres in the landscape, I recommend all the time. Okay, one option, for example, in this I'm getting away from the itinerary I was showing you. It's if you are here already, you can actually stay one day extra. So from here, from the gray sector, you can take, for example, you can do a hiking on the trails. You can do kayaking on the glacier. You can also take a navigation from here and go back to another hotel here, which is Hotel Lago Grey. We can go pick you up there. So there's different options you can actually accommodate. All you have to do is know the itineraries as well, so we can actually program everything for you. Okay, so like I said, kayaking on the glacier, it's actually pretty impressive, or taking the navigation from there so you don't have to walk back. It's actually also pretty cool for the last day. Okay, so going back again to the picture of Torres del Paine and this map, I want to tell you that we are in the middle of Torres del Paine. Yes, Las Torres Reserve, part of the 4th generation. We do care a lot about the ecosystem, about what we have there. That's why the new generation, which I'm happy to include myself, we're actually doing some conservation, reforestation projects, ecological education. I think this is this is a natural and cultural reserve. We've turned it into a category 5 IUCN, which are follow different protocols. In general, we've built also a welcome center. This is at the beginning of the trail. It's a welcome center that can actually host people. You can actually feel comfortable of sending everyone here by themselves. We do recommend a local guide. We recommend it a lot because it gives you interpretation. Now, it can make a huge difference. But you can, I have to be clear, it's a very safe place. Everything's well organized. There's a welcome center before you enter the W Trail, and we'll be there to help you in all the different refugios. It's good facilities, so clients should be fine if they do it by themselves anyway. We have our own rangers, park rangers, which they go around the reserve, the different trails, and help you out if it's too late or do any rescue. the reforestation project. Sorry about the presentation, it did change itself to Spanish, but I guess you get the point. We do some reforestation lenga trees every year. More than 10,000 lenga trees get reforested. We do hope that we can share this to tourists. We can share this to local communities. We have different projects within the hotel, for example, which is sustainable cocktails made by these guys. They create a whole product, and we're very proud of it. Sustainable trails. We've been working with Shoe Shop Trail Alliance from Canada. It's the 4th year in a row that they're coming here to Patagonia. They're helping us how to build trails and how to work them correctly, so clients can have a better experience. Our goal is to really take all this and show it to clients, show it to people, and share this while we do in Torres del Paine. So one of the goals we have, it's we try to be a world reference for sustainable tourism and conservation. That's our vision, and we try to inspire people by nature and culture of Patagonia. So hopefully we can actually commit to that. That's a road we've taken. There's a new material on the website. There's new videos, new information. I welcome everyone to see and to have the information, because you need to be informed if you want to send your clients to Torres del Paine, and we are right there to help you out. Hopefully this is the last time I get to show anything related to COVID, which hopefully it's going to go away very soon. Well, the borders now in Chile, they're closed. Okay, there will be an announcement on the 25th of July, so we know when they open, which I think it will. But the good thing is Chile, it's over 60% vaccinated, which is actually pretty impressive. We still have some like all the normal rules, the distance between people, the gel, the washing hands, temperature, all these kind of things. They will stay in general for at least for this season, but we're more than prepared to host people. And we're really waiting for them to open borders so we can actually start receiving tourists. And I can guarantee you that we're anxious to host here anyone that wants to come to Patagonia and make a bucket list trip for sure. Hopefully I cover most of the items in 30 minutes. Not easy to show you the whole national park. I didn't went into details, but believe me, I will promise everything will be sent to everyone that's been here about the programs, prices, rules, information, COVID, everything.
Thank you so much, Mauricio, for your time and for this great presentation. Before starting with the questions for you, that we have a lot on the control panel, so thank you all the attendees for sharing your questions or doubts with us. I would like to mention something related to COVID-19. You mentioned that 60%, approximately 60% of the population in Chile has been vaccinated, but you didn't mention what is more important for me, and I think for all the attendees here, that almost 93% of the population in the Magallanes region, where Torres del Paine National Park and your reserve is located, is already vaccinated. So the area where your company is located is completely, I would say, completely safe. 93% of the population is great.
Well, you have to remember that we are separated from the continental Chile by this mountain range. Okay, so we're like an island, if you can call it. The only way to arrive here is through an airplane or through Argentina. So the borders are closed, and in Magallanes it's 93, and even maybe it's even more vaccinated. So actually we're thinking now on preparing for the 3rd doses. Some people have been talking, but I think we're pretty safe to host any tourists, and we really hope the borders will open soon enough.
Great. So let's move to the questions. We have a lot of questions for you. The first thing, I having some questions regarding the recording. Yes, we are sending this recording and this presentation in the upcoming days. So if you want to listen to it again, or if you had to go away to take a phone call or whatever was the problem or the reason, don't worry. You will get this recording in the upcoming days. in that follow-up email, we will be including not only the recording, but also the presentation, the digital brochure, some of the programs like the Puma Encounter program, and all rates and everything related to the 2021-2022 season. Sorry about that. So you will get all the information. So let's start with the questions for Mauricio. The first one for you: which month can people visit Torres del Paine National Park, as well as Las Torres Reserve and the accommodations that you operate?
You mean which month now, when we will open, or in general?
I would say in general before the pandemic, and then let's speak about this particular situation.
Usually we start the camping and refugios in September in general. I mean, things could change a little bit depending on COVID, depending on restrictions. We never know. But if everything goes like we plan, we should be okay in September. And for the 1st of November, something like that, Las Torres hotel should be open. In normal season, pretty much everything opens in between September and October. The 1st of October, and we do try to push a little bit always shoulder season. So hopefully, we can actually open the 1st of September, or even work in winter time, which we're close now.
Great. Then regarding reservations, and it seems that there are some agents already with some requests for you. Are you already taking bookings and confirming reservations for this upcoming season?
Yes, we're 100% confirming people, so you can feel free to contact. And of course, there's flexibility in the politics, right, regarding COVID change things for everyone. So feel free to contact us, and or we will get the questions of that person, and yeah, we're more than happy to host you here, so you can book, no problem.
Great. And then we have another question: is it realistic for clients to plan a trip for March 2022?
Well, I'm hoping it's realistic to plan a trip for November, for October. That's what we're hoping for. So March, I would say 100% yes. Again, everything could change, but I mean, yeah, we cannot be closed another season. Shouldn't happen.
Okay. Great. Another question: is there an age limit? We have an agent that was told by a tour operator that you had to be 65 years old or less to do the hiking, the trekking circuits. I think this is not.
Well, my father will be very pissed if that happens. So no, it's not an age limit. And believe me, I've seen people walking by, and like I don't know, 80 years old. I think that was something like 85 years old, the people that did the double trail, last I remember, the oldest one. So and the age limit, it's something people or the client have to think about. Can you do a trek? Can you walk 6 to 8 hours a day? If you can, if you're fit to, no problem. It is Patagonia. You have to be careful. It's high tracks, and it's not for everyone, but we don't put any limits.
Yeah, and I would highlight also that maybe if it is a person 65 years old, 70 years old, that maybe it's not in a good shape, maybe it's not the person to recommend to stay in a refugio or to do the W, but he or she can stay at the hotel. You have a menu of more than 20 activities, full day tours and half day tours, and there are a lot of band tours and activities like that can be done for people with reduced mobility, or that maybe they do not want to stress themselves. So okay, great. Then I have another agent asking. She was in the park in 2007, and she remembered that it was pretty busy. Maybe this was, I assume it was in summer season, January, February. Is there any daily limit on hikers allowed? And do you need a permit at the national park? like in Machu Picchu, for example?
Well, right now there's no restrictions on regarding how many people can enter Torres del Paine. The only restrictions that automatically is going to give you a certain amount of people on the W trail, it's that it's very obvious, but it wasn't many years ago that we can only receive the maximum amount of people we can receive. It's the same amount of people that my project is prepared for. So if I have 100 sites on the camping of 20 beds, I can only receive that. You say, well, it's pretty obvious. I mean, well, it was not 5 years ago, and we had a huge problem with people arriving and thinking this is, any camping, you can just stay there. So we have sanitary problems and service problems, but now the rule of the national park, you have to have your reservations ready before you enter national park. The whole stay. You cannot really improvise within the national park, at least where you're going to stay. You can take any excursions if you want, but the place that you're going to stay, it has to be reserved before you enter the park.
Great. How about the sustainable aspects or the eco-friendly aspects? Well, you spoke about that on your presentation about the reforestation projects that you have in place, also your organic kitchen garden. You are rebuilding the trails also, restoring the trails.
In general, I just want to, we've been here for a long time, and we've only engaged into conservation project, like more heavily engaged, I would say maybe from 2017. We built the Welcome Center. That's a lot of people would not think how that is related to sustainability, but the Welcome Center gave us order, gave us a place that we can actually tell people what to do, how to communicate, how to talk to how to approach nature. And there was so many doubts before, and everyone had no one to talk to. So that was a big construction we did, and we've been following after that, IUCN protocols, and as much as we can. This is sustainable tourism, small scales, and well, it's something they should be able to see when they get there.
Great. Let me see if we have any other questions here on the control panel. Okay, regarding the visit to Cerro Negro Ranch or Estancia Cerro Negro, you mentioned that if we arrive there by noon, you will be offering lunch and you will serve lamb. What if someone do not eat lamb or has any restriction or dietary restrictions? Can you work on an alternate menu for that person if we will let you know in advance?
Are you telling me there's people in the world that don't like Patagonian lamb? Didn't know that. But yes, there's for any restrictions, if we know in advance, there's really no problem. In these times, a lot of people have different, and I wouldn't call it restrictions, but they decided a way they want to live and they want to eat and healthy. So yes, no problem, no problem. I would recommend at least to try a little bit. But yes, vegetarians, vegans, and allergies, if we know about it, no problem.
Great, thank you. And a frequent question also that I already answered on the control panel, but maybe it's not, it's a good idea to remind people about that. We have someone asking about season and when is summer in Chile. Remember that Chile is on the southern hemisphere. When speaking about summer in Chile is winter in US and Canada. So remember that summer in Chile is from December to March, and as they are on the opposite season. Okay, so it's always good to remind that. Do you have more information about the ferry that you mentioned that is sailing from Puerto Montt to Puerto Natales? Can you tell us something, or maybe we can just send a link on the follow-up email?
Well, the information I can tell them, there's only two companies in general. So one it's Navimag, and we can actually send specific information, and we will create actually as we speak. There's a program created between the fjords and Torres del Paine, and we will use Navimag probably as a partner. And what they do, this used to be a load ferry, for carga. what it would be the word in English for transportation more than tourists in general. But they've changed. They bought a new boat, and now they have beautiful cabins in which they can take, I think, up to 75, 80 people. It's a 4-night, I think. They go directly from Puerto Montt to Puerto Natales. They don't stop. But just the view from the fjords, I know it's spectacular, and it's something I would recommend people to do if they have the time. Sometimes people don't have the time. That's why they have to skip it, you know. But in general, and they have share accommodation, private accommodation, different.
Right. Do you remember how much have the glaciers receded? If I'm not wrong, I think I found something like 1.2 miles in the last 30 years.
Oh, how the glacier it's going back. Yes, it is pretty amazing. And if you see a couple of pictures, I still remember the small island in the middle being surrounded by glacier. So they don't have the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's more than some dozens of kilometers. You know, it's yeah. Every time it's getting harder and harder to reach the glacier. You know, because you have to go farther and walk a little bit more.
Right. And I think the last question, is there a particular rainy season between October and May in the area?
Well, the rain, I mean, first of all, compared to the rainy destinations, we are like a really dry in general. Like in the whole year, we don't have much rain in general, okay? This is you compared to places in Chile like Valdivia or some other destination in which you have rain a lot. So our rainy season, it would be maybe March and April. But to be honest, I wouldn't call it rainy season. It's a season that we have a little bit more rain than usual. But in summertime, it's pretty dry season. Actually, in summer, it's where the fires, the fire department is always ready in case there's a problem. And both fires in Torres del Paine, they were done in the high season in December. So yeah, it's I would say March, April. That's a most rainy season.
Okay, great. So we have some agents asking for pricing and those type of things. I think it's better just to include all the different programs and all the different pricing accommodations that we have in the follow-up email, because otherwise I think it will be very confusing to speak about that on the webinar.
No, we have all. No, that's actually what's going to happen. You know, after this, we have prepared a very complete email with all the information. Some information pretty new, with rates, with videos, and everything they need to know so they can sell the destination.
Great. And lastly, Christine is asking how to spell the name of that company connecting Puerto Montt to Punta Arenas. We will send the company name and the link to the website and everything on the follow-up email. Don't worry, Christine, you will get that information between this Friday and next Monday, the latest. We just need to process all the questions and answers that we have here and work on the recording. So I think this is all for today. Once again, thank you, Mauricio, for your time. Thank you, all the attendees, also for your time and connection today. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and you are already planning a trip to Las Torres Reserve, either for you or your clients. Remember that we will be sending the follow-up email with the recording and all the questions in the upcoming days. We will upload also this on our website, emergingdestinations.com, as well as on our YouTube channel, Emerging Destinations. If you are still not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it's a good idea to do it today. And also remember to follow Las Torres Reserve, Las Torres Patagonia on your social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, because you will be receiving and having all the latest news from them. So I would love to give you, Mauricio, the last seconds or minutes to speak to the audience. All to you.
Well, first of all, Torres del Paine, it's a bucket list destination. I would recommend everyone to plan the trip before they just come here. You know, there's so many little things. You know, navigation, transportation, different hotels, lodge camping. But that's why we created all these programs. You know, all these programs, they come ready for you to sail. And we take care of all logistics. We've been here 25 years. This is a project we do it with passion. You know, we since our grandfather started the estancia, and he invited people, you know, to have a when it was not a tourist destination yet. Well, now we keep doing it, and in general, it's a destination for people to be amazed. To do trekking, yes, it's a paradise for trekking. But there was some questions for people, and I like the most of the clients we have at the hotel, I would say they're over 50 something, you know, and getting to 60 something, because they come here to not to walk 5 hours a day. They might like to walk an hour and something, take a small trail. But most of the van tours we have, for example, they offer a small walk. They offer people want to feel they're in an adventure place, whether if they're 25 years old or if they're 80 years old, you know, and we try to give them that. You know, this could be the most adventure that they had in their life, even though if they cannot walk that much, you know. But for them, that's what they're looking. Contemplation, it's a great thing about when you come here, you know, and the landscape you will see, I believe you, it's amazing. You know, every time I go to the national park, I get surprised, you know, by the towers, and I've seen them all my life. So please ask us for any quotation, prices, clients. We're here to help you to sell the destination.
Great. Thank you so much, Mauricio. Thank you all for being today. Have a wonderful afternoon, and see you in Torres del Paine.
Yeah, see you in Torres del Paine. Bye-bye, everyone.